Hey, brothers and sisters. Today I want to talk about Gen Z and mental health disorders, awareness, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, and what they're doing to my generation, and how it's affecting everyone, and how to get out of it, what it really is, because it's not what they say it is. So we're going to go through this. I've gathered stuff from the World Health Organization because that's where all the statistics probably most reliable. So all the statistics are from there, and I've gone through and put something together so we can actually uncover what the real agenda is here. So we'll go through. In the world today, we've seen a massive growth in mental health awareness and labeling behavior as mental health disorders. According to psychiatrists, 42 to 46% of Gen Z suffer from a mental health disorder, compared to the generation before, Gen Y, whom 20% suffer from a mental health disorder. You can see an exponential growth within 1997 and 2012. 1997 to 2012, that's Gen Z, right? Doubled, more than doubled, right? 20% from Gen Y, almost 50% of Gen Z has a mental health disorder. And no doubt, even more believe that it's a disorder and it's something that you need to be aware of and something you need to be loving and kind to them about and sensitive around. The World Health Organization defines a mental disorder as a clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognition, emotional regulation, or behavior. Cognition, the way they think; emotional regulation, the way they feel; and behavior, the way they act. You know what else does that? Demons. That's exactly what demons do. They get in through the frontal lobe, give you thoughts, you listen to them, what you let in you will come out. You show what you think, right? In your behavior, your speaking, and how you feel. That is exactly what it is. And that's just what they've defined a mental health disorder as. So you see how those two pretty much connected perfectly. The exact same thing, right? Of which there are over 200 different types. Over 200 types of mental health disorders. You believe that? I mean, you've got the ones that you've heard of. Can you name every 200 mental health disorder? Gosh, I don't know if I can even name 10. Because, you have anxiety, but you got a little bit of that sprinkled in with it. That's a new mental health disorder. Now you've got 201, right? It just doesn't stop. And we're going to, further down, we're going to go through that because everyone wants a mental health disorder. It makes them feel special, right? Not special, though. Because of this, Gen Z specifically has gained the reputation of over-pathologizing, which means to turn normal human feelings and everyday habits into signs of a mental illness. But is it really normal human behavior? Or is there something bigger at play here? Do you think when you go out into the street and you look at people, do you think that's normal behavior? How they're behaving, how they're walking, how they're talking, everyone around you think that's normal behavior? Do you think that's how Yahushua intended for them to be when he made them? I don't. Not at all how he intended for them to be. That's how they have been controlled. Because you go out into the world, look at them, that's not human behavior, that's demonic behavior. That is what's in them coming out. It's demons. Because that's all a mental health is. Mental health, full stop. Mental health. Not disorders, not awareness, just the topic in general is demons. That's all it is. And that's why mental health awareness is not something that should really exist. You don't want to be aware and loving of people's mental health, right? You want to be speaking out against it because it's a demon. The 5 most common mental health disorders in Gen Z today are anxiety, depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Anxiety is defined as repeated episodes of sudden feelings of intense anxiety and fear or terror that reach a peak within minutes, a panic attack. It's exactly what it is. It's a panic attack. And what do you think's giving you a panic attack? What thoughts are you letting in and listening to that are making you respond that way? Depression is defined as a depressed mood or loss of pleasure or interest in activities for long periods of time. So you get bored and you get sad. It's not a mental illness. That's what happens when you let demons in. You get sad and bored, and then it grows until they lead you to do something drastic, like start hurting yourself, because that's what they want. And everyone wants to chuck a label on it. If you want to chuck a label on it, demons, demonic behavior, that's the label that should be on it, because that's what it is. That's the truth. ADHD is defined as persistent symptoms of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. And I mean, that is inattention. You don't care. You don't want to pay attention, right? Hyperactivity. You're moving constantly. You can't stop or slow down. Impulsivity, right? You just do it. You don't think about it. That is the exact opposite of what Yahusha wants. And as we've seen, as we know, that's what demons do. They do the opposite of Yahusha, right? Yahusha says he gives you as many thoughts as sand on the seashores, right? He says to check your thoughts with the word. So, of course, the demons make you impulsive. They make you think without checking, right? And that is how they get in. PTSD is defined as extreme fear during or after witnessing or experiencing potentially traumatic events such as war, accidents, natural disasters, or sexual violence. So you go through this thing, right? You make it out, and then what starts pestering you, reminding you of it, stirring you up? Demons. OCD is defined as a long-lasting disorder in which a person experiences uncontrollable and recurring thoughts, obsessions, engages in repetitive behaviors or compulsions or both. Compulsions and obsessions. That's what demons make you do. That's how they make you behave. You need to do this. You have to do it. You can't function without doing this and doing it that way. Sounds a lot like a drug addict is and alcoholics are. They need their fix. That's what demons are doing to my generation and the world in general. And everyone is blind to it. They're just accepting it. Being mental health awareness, being loving, supporting it. All of these are brought on by demonic control and sin. Listening to the wrong things, they get into your head, give you thoughts, and when you listen to them, they have these effects on you. That's what they do to you. You let it in through the frontal lobe, it comes into your heart, and you let it out. They pester you. Legions of demons. Man was not made to suffer. We were made to be in constant contact with Yahusha as his perfect creation. He made us in his image. When he made Adam and Eve, they had open portal doorway to Yahusha. They had constant contact with him, Yahuwah at the time. Constant contact. They could always contact him and speak to him, and they had him. Nothing negative, weren't any mental diseases. You think that's what Yahushua wants? No, that's not how he made man. Only after Adam and Eve ate the fruit did man suffer. They were no longer under his divine protection, and therefore became victim to not only themselves, but demons too. To claim the behavior of the world today is normal human behavior is to accept that this is how the world is intended to be, which is not the case. Yahushua did not create man to suffer. He created us in his image as his perfect creation to be with him. Suffering, we did ourselves, right? It's our fault. Yahushua doesn't want anyone to suffer, right? If he did, then he'd just get rid of all of us, right? Mental illnesses are not made by Yahushua. They are demons pestering you, getting in, and you're letting them. Yahushua wants his people to feel joy and love all the time. Unfortunately, that's not possible in our current state. That's why we have to go through the narrow path. Psychologists today urge everyone to accept and be more aware of everyone's mental health, when in fact quite the opposite is happening. Because more and more people are moving to accept mental health disorders, and even more are rushing to label any and all feelings they have as one. Everyone has turned a blind eye to what the actual cause of these disorders are. Psychologists urging everyone to be more aware of their mental health. Why do you think they're doing that? Psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, what do they have to profit out of everyone being more mentally aware of their health, mental health? Then they have all the control and power. If all these addicts addicted to their, talking to their therapist and, the drugs their psychiatrist is giving them and all these prescriptions they're getting, right? Who has control then? They don't. The doctors do. They can tell you what to take, when to take it, and if you don't take it, they can put you in a hospital. They have all the power and the money. Because best believe they charge for it, and they don't charge light. They're expensive. And they're urging everyone, be more aware. Can you see that it's demons controlling the world, controlling your mental health, and you're letting it? And you're going to all these doctors to tell them about, oh, I had such a bad day, I felt sad, and I did this when I didn't want to do it. Then why'd you do it? Why do you feel sad? Do you reckon you might feel sad because you're paying this person ridiculous amounts of money so you can talk to them? You know who you can talk to that won't charge you? Yahushua. He'll talk to you. He'll have good conversations with you. And you won't feel any of this crap either. You won't need to talk about that because it won't be there. You can talk about real things, the truth. But you got to accept that that's what you want. And that's what's happening in the world. The whole world is under control. None of it's what Yahushua wanted it to be. It's run by people listening to demons. They think they have all the power. They don't. There is evidence of this in the scripture on numerous occasions, some being the Gerasene man, the man who blocked the path of travelers to a town, who broke from his chains and harmed himself. When Yahushua cast out his demons, his mental illnesses were gone. He was a crazy man living in a cave. I think there were two of them. blocking the path from travelers. They've been chained up. They had strength. They ripped themselves from the chain. Yahushua came around, healed them. They weren't crazy anymore. The mental illnesses were gone. Plain as day. Mental illnesses are demons. Controlling you. Demons, sin. It's where it takes you. King Saul was given an evil spirit from Yahuwah, which caused him to experience intense distress and irrational suspicion, more evidence of mental health brought on by demons. Mental illness brought on by demons. Intense distress. Anxiety. It says it in the word. An evil spirit. Yahuwah sent an evil spirit to King Saul and made him feel like that. Gave him that. Intense distress and irrational suspicion. I mean, it's right there. And no one wants to accept it. My generation has been so blinded by psychologists that they don't even want to know the truth. They believe this is how the world is supposed to be, and anything that goes wrong, they can blame on their mental health disorders or other generations. It's completely gutless. They can't take responsibility nor the initiative to search for the truth because they believe it is easier to live in the world they're told to. They'll blame everything on everyone else, or they'll blame it on their mental health disorders. That's why there's so many of them. Oh, I had this going on. I was depressed. You're not depressed. You're just sad because this happened. And you're letting it get to you. It's not depression. Depression is a demon. And you're accepting it. You're encouraging it. That's what mental health awareness is. Encouraging demons. Being aware. If you want to put a label on it, put demonic activity to it. Because that's what it is. It's not mental illness. It's demons controlling you, giving you thoughts, and you're listening to them. Completely in control of my generation. 50% have a mental illness. That's only the ones that are actually prescribed, the ones that are actually diagnosed. There are plenty who self-diagnose. I have this, I have that. Like I said, like it said up here. Over-pathologizing. They just claim they have a mental illness because everyone else has one. It must be the cool thing to have. Ridiculous. And they can't, they're in this world where everyone is sick and dying and they have all these things wrong with them. And you look at it and you can see it. Everyone's crazy, but they'd rather just live in it. Why would I want to go out of my way to look for the truth? Can you see this is happening? You need to make a decision. Do you want to continue living in control of demons, in the control of demons, or live in the truth? That's the choice, brothers and sisters. This is what's happening to my generation. Are we aware that this is happening in the world? Because everyone's taking part of it. This 21st century has brought on awareness of everything. You need to be aware of that. You need to be sensitive to that. You know what they're not sensitive to? Yahushua. Don't care about that. No, they don't care about the truth. Because the truth would reveal them. The truth would make them look at themselves and see what they've been. And no one wants to do that. So it's time to make a decision, brothers and sisters. Do we want to keep living in a world of mental illnesses? Or do we want to accept Yahushua and go his way? That's all for today. See you next time.